Still, you are not realizing the power of my words when I say Corona is very much out there with the support of decision makers, rulers, people who are supposed to protect all of you. Due to their irresponsibility, it is there and getting more and more strengthened. It is becoming more and more stronger in multiple forms. And all other the immunity strength weak in human bodies. Human bodies have lost the strength of immunity power. All multi-layer after effects and side effects of this pralaya in political situations, in economic situations, in social situations, mental situations, in every level cannot be described. Wait, this year, focus on keeping yourself alive. Let us look at the three main revelations made by Devi Parashakti. The first revelation, Corona has made the immunity strength weak in human body. Let us understand this revelation. In Science Daily, it was recently reported that a coronavirus infection alters the biomechanical properties of red and white blood cells, in some cases for months. And this is a possible explanation for long COVID. And this was reported in June 29th, on June 29th, 2021, just 11 days after Devi Parashakti's revelation. And the article continues on, COVID-19 significantly changes the size and stiffness of red and white blood cells, sometimes over the course of months. These results may help to explain why some affected people continue to complain of symptoms long after an infection, long COVID. And Devi revealed that the immunity strength will be weakened in human bodies, and humans will be losing the strength of immunity power. And this is exactly what we are seeing is happening. The COVID-19 infection actually changes how your red and white blood cells, the size and stiffness of them. So this actually does affect your body and how your body responds to other infections. And this article from the Academy of Medical Sciences says that the way that the body defends against a virus is to recognize and neutralize it. However, in Forbes, it was recently reported that corona suppresses the immune system by disrupting the actions of the body's immune cells. This immunosuppression allows for the 2-week incubation period, which gives corona enough time to attack the body. And below, the graph shows a typical timeline for someone who is suffering with COVID-19. And between the 0 to 5 days of the infection is the incubation period, and between 5 to 10 days, the prodromal period. And between the 10 and 15 days is when most people suffer an acute infection, which can end up leading to people entering into the ICU. And many times after this, people are able to recover from their infection. However, many times the symptoms continue on long after this initial infection, and this is what many people are experiencing even months after the initial infection. And here you can see the impact of COVID-19 compared to other deadly pandemics within history. And you can see that the impact of COVID-19 cannot be dismissed, because if you look at one of the worst epidemics that we've seen, which is the HIV epidemic, over the course of 40 years, it has taken the lives of nearly 35 million people. And COVID-19, over the course of just 1.5 years, has taken the lives of 4 million people. This is not a small or insignificant number. We can clearly see that COVID-19 still sits as one of the most deadly diseases throughout history and is continuing to climb in its death toll today. And further studies by the University of Oxford found that cells are profoundly impaired after recovering from COVID-19. And the British Society for Immunology has also claimed that the effects of COVID are far beyond respiratory health. It also affects the cardiovascular system and the renal system. And this, you can see, has they be revealed, it does have long-term effects on the body and the immune system specifically. And in an article published, an excerpt from it states that exposure to the disease COVID-19 causes symptoms in multiple organ systems across the body and is not limited to only the lungs and respiratory system, as was originally thought. In addition, patients are reporting chronic symptoms such as fatigue and shortness of breath that last for months after the original infection. And the name given to those suffering from COVID-like symptoms after the infection has passed is called long COVID. And long COVID can affect the lungs, the cardiovascular system, the circulatory system, and can also cause fatigue and inflammation. And you can see that as they revealed, it does cause long-term effects on the immune system. And here we can see an example of how the lungs can be affected in someone who has suffered from COVID-19. On the left side, you can see the healthy lungs. And on the right, you can see the COVID-affected lungs and the scarring that the COVID-affected lungs have. And even after contracting COVID-19, your immune system does remain weakened and you are more susceptible to other illnesses. And symptoms in the CDC, it was reported that symptoms can last weeks or months after first being infected with the virus, and this is called long COVID. And it can have effects on multiple organ systems, and such as the heart, the lungs, the kidney, the skin, and brain function. So let us look at the section made by the Bhava. All other diseases which are waiting to attack the human body are waiting to attack the human body after the strength of immunity has been weakened in human bodies. So let us understand this revelation. So many of us have already heard about black fungus, white fungus, and other fungal diseases which have been sweeping the nation in India and specifically affecting patients who have recovered from COVID-19. And in one article, it has reported that over 9,000 cases of this rare infection have already been reported. And in another article, it states that over 4,500 patients who have been infected with these fungal diseases are COVID-19 recovered patients, and out of the 5,424 cases been reported. And here you can see some of the photos of people who have been affected by both COVID-19 and these fungal diseases, and how much it eats the skin, the tissue, even the eyes and other soft tissue. And the third revelation that we will look at is how Corona is becoming more and more strong in multiple forms. we have already heard about many of the variants coming out of different countries, including Brazil, South Africa, UK, and of course the Delta variant coming out of India, and how it has been severely affecting countries all over the world, how they have been experiencing multiple waves and forced into lockdown multiple times. And this is exactly as they be revealed how Corona is becoming more strong in multiple forms. And the variants coming out of these specific countries are the Alpha variant coming out of the UK, the Beta variant has come out of South Africa, the Gamma variant has come out of Brazil, and the Delta variant has come out of India. And in general, viruses mutate, but in the case of COVID, we have seen that they are becoming more dominant. And this is, as we have seen, the reason for why countries are experiencing more and more waves of COVID-19, and specifically India has been very severely hit by the Delta variant. And the dangers of these variants has been further highlighted when the WHO categorized the Delta variant as the most highly transmissible variant of COVID-19. And in the article below, it indicates that the Delta variant was the primary cause of India's second wave of COVID-19. And in this small infographic, we can see the 4 variants that have been circulating and affecting many countries all over the world. The Alpha variant out of the United Kingdom, which has affected over 178 countries. The Beta variant out of South Africa, which has affected over 122 countries. The Gamma variant out of Brazil has affected over 74 countries, and the Delta variant, which is considered to be the most transmitted as of recent, has affected over 104 countries. And other variants of COVID-19 have been also recently discovered. And studies have suggested that the Delta variant is around 50% more transmissible than the Alpha variant, which was more contagious than the original strain that emerged out of China. And the secondary attack rates have been known to be between 51 to 67% higher than that of the Alpha variant. And as the Supreme Pontificate already revealed, that we should be very cautious, as there will be other variants arising, including the Delta Plus variant and the Lambda variant, especially in India. And this has already, recent research has already shown that even more variants are arising and are a very serious cause for concern across the globe. And as the rate of infection has been increasing and the number of deaths that have been increasing, we can see that as they be revealed, the corona is becoming more strong in multiple forms. And let us listen to Devi Parashakti's revelations on the 14th of April, 2021.
ஷர்மிளா, கொரோனா ஒழிந்தது. கொரோனாவை வைத்து அரசியலும் அழிவாட்டமும் செய்ய நினைக்கும் மாட்டம் முடிய இன்னும் 4 ஆண்டுகளாகும். என் பக்தர்களையும் சீடர்களையும் கைலாய வாசிகளையும் நானே காத்துக் கொள்கின்றேன், நானே காக்கின்றேன். என் பக்தர்களுக்கு ஒரு துயரும் ஒரு துக்கமும் வாராது. ஆனால் உலகின் இந்த கொரோனாவின் சதியாட்டம் முடிய 4 ஆண்டுகள் ஆகும். 2025 தான் அடங்கும். இது சதியாட்டம், மனிதர்களின் சதியாட்டம்.
Now, let us understand the translation of Devi Parashakti's revelation. Corona is destroyed, but it will take 4 years for the political conspiracies done by humans to end. I will protect my devotees, disciples, and Kailasa-vasis. No suffering will come for my devotees for the conspiracy of Corona to end. It will come to an end only in 2025. It is a conspiracy, a human conspiracy. And below, the article highlights the predictions for the future in India of COVID-19 and how there is likely going to be a third wave coming up very soon. And their article also continues on to say that if new variants are discovered, they will spread much faster in this third wave. And we can see from even more recent research that has been published that there are even more variants arising from various places, and they will continue to be affecting many people. And as we can see, an end in sight for this ongoing pandemic. And just as Devi has revealed, this will continue on for several more months and even years. And that you are protected, even if you've already been infected. So it is extremely important for each of us to be cautious. The revelations by Devi Parashakti and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, with more waves of COVID coming up and with so much of suffering and death all around us, what is the best way we can protect ourselves? Does anybody have a solution? Kailasa is the only place that is safe, and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism is the only hope. And the Supreme Concept of Hinduism, out of his deepest compassion, has opened up all of the Kailasas in India for COVID care facilities. And this includes multi-layer quarantine and all preventive measures to ensure that anyone who is residing within the Kailasa is protected from this deadly pandemic. And anyone is welcome to sign up at kailasa.org/kailasacare to avail this opportunity to protect yourself. Devi and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism have continuously been telling us that the only priority for this year is to keep yourself alive. So ensure that you are taking heed to Devi's and the Supreme Concept of Hinduism's guidance and protecting yourself and protecting your family. You can sign up again at kailasa.org/kailasacare if you would like to protect yourself and your family with multi-layer quarantine. And in all of the Kailasas within India, the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has opened up this multi-layer quarantine and has allowed anyone to come and quarantine there for completely free of cost. This includes food, accommodations, and medical care, all of the basic medical care, including all Ayurvedic supplements and other supplements as well. And also the ambiance of the spiritual enlightenment ecosystem that the Supreme Concept of Hinduism has created, and including yoga daily and the benefits of having organic farming within all of the campuses, and allowing each and every work from home in all of the campuses with providing free internet services and free printing services. So if you would like to avail all of these opportunities, you are welcome to visit kailasa.org/kailasacare. With this, we will be concluding this part of the segment and entering into the next segment, where we will understand some of the offerings that we can make to Devi Parashakti. She has been gracing us and blessing us over these past several months during this pandemic. And has been personally guiding each one of us, has been personally attending to every single person's prayers, wounds, questions, and blessing each and every one of us, literally holding our hand through this pandemic. So if you would like to offer your gratitude for all of the blessings that she has been giving us, you are welcome to offer any of the offerings that we will be showing in the next segment. So with this, we will be concluding this segment with a very short break, and then we will be entering into the segment.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any illusion, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers who are gathering with us from all over the world in different time zones, from different countries. And even if you have different language background as well, speaking another language, I welcome you to this program and invite you now to listen to a couple of the offerings that we have available for you to make today for Devi Parashakti. And despite you being from any background, or speaking any language, being any kind of race, nationality, gender, sexuality, Devi Parashakti has literally given herself, has made herself available to each and every one of you, and has made herself available for every one of us, despite our deepest flaws, differentiations, our diversity, and has continuously been giving us so much of loving care, guidance, as we are going through one of the most known crises in the human history itself. And none of us expected that for 2 years now, we will be continuously facing ongoing crisis, global situations, even natural disasters, and even a worsening case of the global warming that is going on. But Devi Parashakti continues to make herself available even during this time in order to continuously give us the opportunity to attain oneness with Devi Parashakti and achieve our highest ambition, enlightenment itself. And we can go on to the next slide. Now, during this segment, again, we will be on some of the deeper context of Devi Parashakti and some of the ways that you will be able to immediately and instantly Parashakti, and will also be able to share with you some of the sacred context and scriptural references of Devi Parashakti from the various different scriptures and sources of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. So understand that these offerings that we are going to go over today is a giving of a divine gift of pure love, devotion, and oneness. And you will see the context behind them is never out of fear or out of greed. It's not as if Devi Parashakti will take away something, or she will show her anger, or she will be wrathful against you. God and goddesses are most against humanity. In fact, they have always demonstrated their utmost compassion, even when human beings ourselves haven't taken the responsibility ourselves to fix the situation that we are in, or we find ourselves in more and more of a mess. The grace of God, the grace of Paramashiva Parashakti is always removing that and pouring us with love. And that is the reason why we're making these offerings, is just offering our gratitude to Devi Parashakti for literally manifesting in our life. So when an avatar lands, especially the Nijavatar manifesting in the human form, when they are in the human body, it is especially significant to make these offerings and literally be able to connect with the divine. Now, before entering into this segment, let us first chant the Dhyana Shloka. I'll now be chanting the Dhyana Shloka for Devi Manonmani, the beautiful, compassionate form of Devi Parashakti, who is seated on the very lap of Paramashiva. Induniva Veda Karavahni Syat Pankajavara Japakshasarayuktam Angahima Bhushana Vichitravasanam Syat Tunga Mukutojvala Manonmani Swarupam. And the English translation says, moonlight face holding the Vedas on hand and fire in eyes, the lotus flower grows gracing and blessing hands in one hand with the Japamala, beautifully decorated with jeweled ornaments and wonderful clothes and shining bright crown. Her name is Manonmani. Yes, let's go on to the next Dhyana Shloka, which I'll now be chanting. ध्याये देवीं त्रिनेत्रां शशिनिभवदनां वेदहस्तां ददानां सव्ये पद्मं वरदमपरे चाभयं चाक्षमालां दिव्यैराभरणैर्विभूषिततनुं ब्रह्मादिभिः पूजितां देवीमेव मनोन्मनिं प्रतिदिनं कामत्रधत्रीं शुभाम्. And once again, the English translation. We can go on to the next slide. Yeah. I meditate on Devi with 3 eyes glowing like the moon and holding the Vedas, lotus and gracing with blessing and gracing hands. She is wearing beautiful ornaments and she is worshipped by Brahma and other gods and showers auspicious boons for all actions every day. Yes, so we have now invoked, invited and prayed to the presence of Devi Parashakti herself. And with that deep, blissful remembrance of Devi Parashakti in our inner space, let us now enter into the next segment, and this segment where we will be going into the various different offerings that you can do today. And it's always very exciting for me, especially to share with you these offerings, especially because of the beautiful context that each and every single one holds. All of these offerings have so much of context. And often today, we have so many misunderstandings and confused cognitions about reality, about why we do what we do. But the precision, accuracy, and the poetic nature of Sanatana Hindu Dharma really always, every single time, never fails to take me away. And no matter how many times I am able to share each and every, with every one of you these offerings, I never get tired because of how beautiful the context is behind each and every single offering. There's no way you can get tired of such enlightening context and beautiful cognition. And every time that you understand more and more about the higher understandings about all of these offerings, it brings us closer and closer to the divine. So I invite each and every one of you to understand with me more and more deeper into each and every one of these offerings. So as you can see here, this is the significance of the element gold. Sorry, we can go back. I have to finish reading the slide. This is the significance of the Ada. There is a beautiful verse that talks about the significance of gold. And you'll see that many of these offerings that we are going to do today are various offerings, and they are offerings in gold. And now I'll just be sharing with you, each and every one of you, the translation for these offerings. It says here, triply born by birth is this gold. From the atoms of Agni is one. It becomes dearest to Agni. One fell away from the Soma when it was heard. One they call the seed of virtuous and powerful Apaha water molecules. Let that triple gold be for your long life. So, of course, there's a lot of depth in this translation, but what we can take away, first of all, is that gold is associated as the seed of virtuous and powerful Apaha. It's here tied and associated with virtue and powerfulness. And not only that, later on it goes to say that triple gold be for your long life. And here we have one of the oldest scriptures known to humankind referencing gold as associating it with long life. Long life being, of course, immortality. And if you are even a knower of mythology, of popular culture nowadays, you know that gold has long been associated and is very popularly known as being associated with alchemy and being associated with immortality. And all of the fantastic books that we have in popular culture nowadays are always tying back gold with immortality. But this actually had a truth in Vedic civilization. This was what we lived literally. And nowadays we have gold as a social and economic value. Gold being a social value by putting value on our relationships. On Mother's Day and Father's Day, on our birthdays, on our anniversaries, we often give gifts in gold, and we place value in our relationships using these gold gifts. And also we give value in society with golden awards and gold medal, gold pedestal. All these are the status in society that is associated with gold. It's always the best of the best. It's always associated with the highest degree. But no matter how high it can get, we honestly haven't understood the depth that is there in gold and how